Hey, Greg, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Heavily rotated lineup for you guys. I don't know, I feel like you could go probably through the starting 11 and talk about each player, but looking at Harbor Miller, look at Elijah Winder, JT Marcinkowski making his first start since 2023. I mean, I'm not sure you can expect this type of performance from them, but they went out and met the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. They were outstanding. Like, honestly, just outstanding. I think a big part of it is the commitment to their jobs to the day, commitment to each other, trusting kind of the system and the process, and then using each of their abilities, contributing that to the collective group on the day. And I think we saw tonight was the night I saw a ton of progress that maybe we haven't seen in other games for some of the guys, but with a real kind of opportunity from the start, you see that some of the guys are making a ton of progress, and that's a good thing. Elijah was awesome tonight. He was really, really good. I thought his field awareness, his feel for time, his relationship with Edwin was really good. His power to carry beyond lines and to drive the game forward, and obviously to get himself into a goal-scoring position. It's something we kind of talked about at halftime, is that our pivots, specifically Elijah, could roll off and join the attack based on how they were trying to press us. He took it and he ran with it and he was excellent. I can't say one thing about him that off the top of my head that was out there. I thought Lucas had a great game, probably his best one for us. Started off a little higher up the field this time, and I thought he looked powerful. He was running around the field. He was competing. He was combative. But also I felt like, again, the ball was popping off his foot at the right speed and getting to the right places. I thought he was very good. I'm going to end up going through everybody. But some of the guys we already know, the Mickeys and the Johns and the Zonkas. Chris Rindolph was outstanding too, like just steady Eddie. He's been like that all season with the second team, and he's been kind of the stabilizer for a pretty young back line on that team, and he came out like a seasoned pro today and really did his job. Tucker was great. Just wiggly Tucker. You can't get a hold of him, get you out of situations, and keeps the ball moving. And he was smooth. And on the side, Harbor, which was kind of where you started. Harbor's the kid with a ton of confidence and ability. He wasn't even really playing his position. He was going back to his days as an academy player out on the wing, but we wanted to use him kind of as a hybrid wing-back winger, so he would defend a little bit lower and match Cannon a little bit on the defensive side. We knew he could handle that with no problem, and then attack, up the left side. So I thought he was, again, just mature, good decisions, showed a ton of confidence out there. He's ready for the level. This is where he needs to be, and continuing to play and progress and move his game forward. So it was fun. Miguel put up a good shift up there, occupying those guys and giving us an outlet sometimes when they were going man-on-man press sometimes. So it was good. And I thought I was really happy for JT. And, the thing is that JT came into this situation and he was the third goalkeeper. And as a third goalkeeper, not playing with the second team, training every day, like, you just don't really know what your purpose is sometimes. And we tried to keep him focused, and he never wavered. He was always working on getting himself healthy again after what's been a long road of knee injury for almost 18 months or so. Getting a couple games, but he's been a top pro every single day. His communication is incredible. His presence is great. And I was happy for him today. He earned and deserved the opportunity today, and he lived up to it the way he's capable. This guy has been a starter in the league, so it was just about him getting himself back to health and getting to a rhythm and getting himself an opportunity. He was the right guy for today, given the group that was around him, that they gave him a lot of stability and confidence back there. So it was fun. It was fun to watch and fun to be a part of. And obviously when the other team is gone 60 minutes and trying to track those guys around to come on with the other three is just a nightmare for the other team. I felt, sometimes when we were playing into the depth, I could see the faces of the guys that were having to chase Joe down and Gabe down, and they were spent by that point. So not so bad to have that kind of quality and kind of danger coming in a little bit later into the game when the opposition's a little bit, like I said, a little tired. So it was fun. It was a fun night. We haven't had a ton of those this year, so it was a fun night. Build some momentum, build some confidence for the group again as we go into a huge night on Wednesday. We've got some guys rested, and we'll get some guys ready to go.
Yeah, maybe expand on that. What does that do for you now Wednesday? I mean, you got to rest, the majority of the guys I think you wanted to get a rest. You got to play the guys you wanted to play.
Yep.
How does that sort of, keep you rolling towards, Leagues Cup on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think there's a couple pieces. I mean, you alluded to it. First is we get some guys some rest who just been playing a ton of minutes over this last stretch. So that's good for them. The second part is the guys that went out there today were fantastic. So whichever guy I call on to come into the game or to help our team on Wednesday or whoever is, like, those guys have to be really confident and ready to go and chomping at the bit for another opportunity too. So I think it just really helped from top to bottom, everyone who's going to be involved Wednesday. It's, sometimes when you rotate that heavily, you don't get the emotion that we got out of today. I mean, the locker room was buzzing for the guys two guys getting their first goals, a couple guys getting their first starts, and Chris getting his first MLS start, maybe. So the locker room was buzzing, and that kind of camaraderie just is positive. It's going to be a really tough game Wednesday, but to have this as a foundation kind of to build off of is nice. So I'm proud of these guys. Yeah.
What are the plans for Harbor going forward, rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean he'll be with us, and he's going to get some opportunity for sure to play, and we want to try to get him ready for next season and build him forward. We always knew it about midpoint this season. He was going to transition into being more closely with us. Obviously, it's coincided with the emergence of Mouty as well on that side, and typically his positions on the right back. Mickey had a great game tonight too, but he's so comfortable playing on the right side, on the left side, as we saw today, not necessarily always as a winger, but he's a guy that just needs to be playing at this level. So it's on me and us to get him opportunities to utilize the rest of this season to put his floor higher as we go into next year, because his ceiling is very high. So it's just about, again, it may mean that somebody won't be playing quite as much as they want, or it may mean he's going to, we'll find some opportunities for him inside of it, but he'll be getting some minutes down the stretch.
Do you also look at players like Lucas and Elijah for the same path to sort of get them sort of up to speed and ready to go for next year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's going to be a big part of this season. It's investment time now, investment in these guys' growth and wanting to see the things that we've been trying to work through over the course of the season. So a lot of our season is going to be really spreading the minutes around and really getting guys opportunities to further their game and prepare them for what's going to happen next season. In the meantime, we've got a championship that we're playing for here over the next week, and then we have the Campeones Cup as well. So we got some things at hardware that we're playing for, but some of the season is certainly going to be about investing in some of these guys that we're trying to move their game further for as we move into next year eventually.
And then one more about Randolph. Came from Kansas City. What did you like about him when you brought him in? And he's like the oldest defender down Ventura, right?
He is, yeah. I mean, I got to give a lot of credit to the guys, who are putting that team together and seeing and recognizing him. We always have liked, we've had guys in the past with G2 who we've always liked having that one veteran center back, especially when we have young center backs that we're trying to bring up next to him, just a stabilizer, a leader. Chris he's top pro. Like every day without fail, he's the first guy here, and he's in the weight room and he's got his buds in and he's doing his routines and working out, and he's one of the last guys to leave today. And I saw him now. We've had him on the roster for 2 games. He goes out to the field and he's working out of his position and he's visualizing the things that he's going through. This kid he's a top pro, and so he's investing in himself and his career. I've seen him doing it and watching the second team all year as I have, and he's just been a rock for that team and a leader. And I'm glad that he got the opportunity tonight, and he earned it, and he's going to earn more opportunities with the way he played tonight. So it was good for him. Great way to present yourself when you get the opportunity. That's what you're supposed to do.
Greg, thanks so much for talking to us. Congratulations on the win. Earlier in the year, I asked you, in particular, about a lot of these young players, what you wanted to see from them, and you responded to something verbatim, seeing them take their chances, right? Seems like they really did tonight. What does that tell you about being able to rely on these depth pieces?
Yeah, it's imperative that with your roster in this league that you have depth, and especially when you're playing in multiple competitions as we were at the beginning of the season. I think a lot of these younger guys were maturing at the beginning of the season. Were just kind of, some of them just settling in and hadn't even seen the league much, played much in the league, or even been in the country, for Lucas, for example. So my hope for them was growth, and sometimes that happens fast and sometimes that's a little bit slower. But I think tonight was a great example that there is growth there. Now every game is different, right? Every challenge is going to be different. Just because tonight went so smooth for them, there's still going to be more challenges in the upcoming opportunities. That's why these last 10 or 11 games or whatever we have left are going to be important for these guys, because they'll see different things than was tonight, and it'll ask them to have to respond to those moments. But we need to make this team deeper, and part of that is going to be these young players coming along. A part of it over the offseason is going to be where you bring in players to fill roles and spots. But those two things have to converge as we move into next year so that we can have the deep team, because with the way the schedule is going to be next year, it's going to be super congested with the World Cup break, and so games are going to be coming fast, and you got to be able to have rotation and not have big drop-offs. You got to have depth, and so that's the big part of the investment for us and this stretch too, is bring these guys along.
Tactically, Lucas and Elijah seem to flourish in that double pivot alongside of each other. Is that what you're kind of envisioning when you put them out there in that double pivot, seeing their qualities kind of bring out the best in each other?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I like Lucas a little higher. He's a powerful runner, and I like he's willing to run through the lines, and he can, he likes space. He likes to work with space and to duel. And so I liked him up there in that role today. I thought, again, it was one of his better games. Just in the last 30 minutes when we took Eddie off, he dropped down into the pivot with Elijah, and I thought the game was a little looser there. It was not quite as tight as it was in the first part, in the first 45 to 60 minutes. So I thought he benefited from that. He looked good when he and Elijah were together, but I thought there was a little bit of space in between the lines that was good for them. But I like him higher, and I thought, one of the things I thought is Elijah showed his ability to, throughout the course of the game, to play in good coordination with Edwin. I thought the two of them had really good control of that lower pivot, of when to show up for each other, those kinds of things. So I thought that relationship was good, and I really liked, like I said, I liked Lucas high. I like him having some space to run. That's what he did more in Uruguay. He's played up a little bit higher in the gap and not so low, and so we'll bring them both along and see what suits them. That's part of the thing, honestly, for me, that I've been trying to figure out with these guys. Are they more comfortable high in a gap and in between, behind the midfield line and in front of the back line, or are they better in between the forwards and the midfield line, where there's the intricacies of the pivot stuff? So to be fair, I've been also assessing them to figure out what was going to be their comfort zone as we work through this process. So tonight was a good look at that. Just we'll see as they keep growing.
Greg, just real quick, injury to Nascimento. Do you have an update on that?
Yeah, growing strain was not major. We'll see how he fares over the next few days. So I say questionable for Wednesday, but possible. But I don't see it being any longer than that. But I put him a little bit more day today right now, just see how he responds each day. So we'll see how he goes. But for sure tonight wasn't worth any of it, right?
We'll start with questions with Josh.
Hey, GT, congratulations on the shutout, and congratulations on the first game since 2023, right?
First MLS game, yeah.
How can you walk us through just sort of the injuries that you suffered there and just the path to get back to tonight?
Yeah, it was middle of October 2023, played a friendly game, and just like a freak accident, kind of tore everything up in my knee. And from that night on, it was like, all right, how do I figure this out to get back to playing? It was a long process with a lot of ups and downs. Beginning was a lot of downs and a lot of questioning, I think, my path forward, but I'm super thankful for the people I had around me, my physical therapist, my entire support team, my fiance, my family. Honestly, this night is just as much for them as it is for me.
What did it feel like tonight to get the start and then to get the shutout and for you guys to have such a great night, maybe a little bit unexpectedly with all the rotation?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't unexpected for us. I think the guys who played tonight have been training all year and have been training great. We have a really deep group, and I think tonight just showed that. I think to get the start was great. It was just doing back to what I love, just getting back to it. And once I was on the field again, it just felt like normal and felt like the place I wanted to be.
Hey, JT, coming into the season, you're the third goalkeeper. You expect chances are going to be limited. So how do you prepare yourself for this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think the preparation is just day to day. As a goalkeeper, that's kind of our life. We know that only one of the guys is going to play. We're very rarely getting subbed into games, and it's more often than not an emergency case, if at that. But I think just staying ready, staying prepared, acting, like I'm the starter in training, and acting like I'm the number one, just to keep my confidence high and to make sure I make the most out of every rep. And I think when I'm not playing or when any goalkeeper isn't playing, it's hard, but that's the mental fortitude that you need to play the position.
And then what was it about the Galaxy that you wanted to come, you signed here?
I mean, they won, so that was a pretty good, a pretty good reason why. But I think being up in the Bay Area and playing for San Jose for so long, we've had a lot of battles with Galaxy, and I think it's an amazing club, and it's one I always strive to get to, and I'm super happy to be here.
And then just one more, just your confidence as you're going through the rehab. I'm sure there were ups and downs. Just what is that process like to go through that,
Yeah.
and to come out on the other end of it really
Yeah,
here
I
tonight?
mean, like I said, I think it was just a daily battle. It's really hard when you're in a long-term rehab to think about the end goal and to think about getting back on the field. I think more often than not, I was just trying to get through my rehab of that day. Whatever the exercise was, whatever I tried to accomplish for that particular session. And then when I look back, it kind of, you build upon each day and you build upon the work that I put into it. And just the trust that I have in myself just comes from, I think, my preparation and my commitment to getting back on the field.
Hey, JT, thank you so much for talking to us, and congratulations on the win and the shutout. Greg came out here and spoke glowingly of you, said that you're a top pro, especially, with being the third goalkeeper, finding yourself in that situation. You've spoken about it already a little bit, but how do you actually go out and find that mental fortitude to stay in that pocket and train professionally and, show up to work every day knowing that you might not get that chance?
I think it's all about perspective. Gratitude, I think at the end of the day, we play the sport that we love for a living, and I think it's only right that I do my best every single day. I think I would be selling myself short. I think I would be selling the people who have helped me get here short if I didn't try my hardest every single day and make sure I was prepared. So I think gratitude for the position that I'm in. If I'm starting, if I'm not starting, if I'm playing or not, I think just coming out to training every single day and doing my best for myself and also for my teammates. And I think that's how you become a good team, is that you get 30 guys putting their best effort into it, and special things can happen.
You said this wasn't unexpected for you guys in the locker room, but this season itself might be a little bit surprising to you, considering you said, hey, it was an easy decision to come here to LA just won. What has that transition been like for you, especially since you've been off the field and haven't been able to actually contribute on the field and help this team out in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that I was contributing is just being a good teammate. I think that's what it was expected of me, and I think that's what's going to be expected of me going forward. I think nothing changes after tonight. It's just showing up daily, putting my best foot forward, making sure I'm there for my teammates, good times and in bad. I think, like you said, it's been a rough year. There's no doubt about that. But I think the only way that we can go out to, improve to ourselves, improve to our fans, and I think show our fans that the commitment they deserve is, having good performances like tonight, having another good performance on Wednesday, and going from there.